Tonight, a workforce reality check, going behind the numbers for London's employment struggles.
What we're trying to do to help mitigate some of those pressures is by diversifying our industrial base.
Plus, funding shortfalls.
This is not a budget crisis. It is a political choice.
Local special education needs brought to Queen's Park. And should the Forest City grow its own trees?
Staff are bringing back a report looking at, the various options and how do we figure out what is the most cost effective.
Would a city-owned nursery make sense for London?
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're expecting an update from Stats Canada by the end of the week on the state of our region's labor force. Recent numbers have been far from flattering, with London maintaining the highest unemployment rate among major Canadian cities. However, as Jerry Dewan reports, those numbers don't necessarily tell the whole story.
They are economic factors, Kapil Lokochia says, are beyond local control.
The broader economy in southwestern Ontario is shaped by global pressures that, of course, include our ongoing trade negotiations with the U.S., global conflict, interest rates, and a slow housing market. All of these factors contribute towards the economic conditions that we see here on the ground.
Monthly employment numbers have been trending higher throughout the year, taking this region to the highest jobless rate in the country.
We have close to 20% of our employment covered in manufacturing and construction-related industries. We know construction is slower right now, and we know manufacturing is affected by some of these global pressures. What we are trying to do to help mitigate some of those pressures is by diversifying our industrial base. That's why you see a lot of focus in food and beverage processing industries, because it tends to withstand economic cycles a bit better.
It's an issue acknowledged by the minister responsible for FedDev Ontario during a recent funding announcement in London.
This is where the real impact of the tariff war on steel, auto, aluminum has really hit, and that's had knock-on consequences to lots of businesses here. Federal
and provincial funding and legislative changes are being used to support business growth. The coach says those programs will take time to show results. He also stresses the monthly employment numbers are best viewed as a snapshot, and he says other indicators have to be incorporated to assess the state of the economy, including the region's gross domestic product.
GDP still stays steady and projected to grow. As we know, with more nation-building projects, infrastructure, residential growth projected to meet housing targets, we expect an increase in the construction industries as well.
The coach says new manufacturing is set to come online. That includes the Medicom nitrile glove manufacturing plant in the city's advanced manufacturing park, and will bring over 100 jobs. And the big one, the PowerCo EV battery plant in St. Thomas, it's slated to begin initial production in 2027 and is expected to bring 3,000 new jobs when fully operating. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Teachers with the Thames Valley District School Board say children with special needs aren't getting the support they need. Local educators were in Toronto today calling on the provincial government to change the funding formula to address what they call a crisis for students with complex needs. Brian Bicknell reports.
18, subtract 9.
Elementary classes in Ontario are supposed to be capped at an average of 20 students. But Haley Van Alstyne, who teaches at a school in Thames Valley, says the number doesn't tell the whole story.
In one primary classroom in our school, there are now 22 students. 8 of those students are autistic. Several are non-speaking and require significant support throughout the school day. The challenge is not simply the number of students in the room. The challenge is ensuring that the level of support available matches the level of need present.
Van Alstyne was part of a Queen's Park news conference with New Democrat MPP Terence Kernahan, along with fellow educators and union representatives from Thames Valley, York, and Halton.
Students have been abandoned by this government, and teachers have been left to try to fill gaps.
They say access to educational assistance, language, and specialized supports and other services for children with special needs is too restrictive.
None of the support that does exist is even possible without proper testing. Testing that families are now waiting at least 2 years to access.
They're calling on the provincial government to revamp the education funding formula, directing support to where it's most needed.
Open the education funding formula to fund children based on their individual education plan to ensure that those supports that have been agreed upon by numerous professionals will actually reach that child.
Ontario has the money. This is not a budget crisis. It is a political choice. A choice to underfund, a choice to ignore evidence, a choice to let children struggle.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
The CTV News reached out to the Education Ministry this morning for a response to the claims made in the news conference. Ministry officials responded late this afternoon, pointing to how much is spent on special education while stating they are reviewing models used across the province.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. Another day of sunshine and warmth right across southern Ontario, but our dry spell is going to come to an end. We are tracking the next low pressure system, which will move in just in time for the weekend, and that means late day showers on Friday and the chance for showers and thunderstorms for Saturday as well. We'll walk you through the full forecast a little later in the show. Carlyle?
Thanks, Rita. A new strategy was unveiled by City Hall today meant to address growing concerns over rat infestations in residential neighborhoods. As Daryl Newcomb reports, that strategy will require some Londoners to change their behavior.
The vultures are coming into the area. That's completely unacceptable.
Vultures have been feeding on dead rats in and around these residential dumpsters in a townhouse complex on Shelburne Street. The disgusting mess is only meters from Jesse Green's front door.
We have to avoid that like the plague, basically. And, you know, I'm not sure where there's children that play around here.
Councillor Hadley McAllister has been calling for a strategy at City Hall to address the growing number of rat infestations in core neighborhoods and around the river. He says it's often the actions of humans that are attracting the rats, like illegal dumping and unmaintained properties.
Just garbage left sitting for too long, dumpsters not properly secured. Essentially, the environments in which rats thrive is really generating a lot of this activity.
City Hall's proposed strategy would take a system-wide approach at removing the resources rats need to reproduce and live, like water, food, and shelter. A staff report recommends a three-step approach: strengthen garbage storage and property maintenance bylaws and compliance, a residential rat remediation program to financially assist eligible homeowners looking to rat-proof their residences, and create a budget for a corporate rat management plan that would include dedicated staff, hotspot identification, and public education.
The larger costs would be as part of the multi-year budget discussion, so I think that that's an appropriate place for it.
And solutions can't come soon enough for Jesse Green, who found a new rat hole under his porch.
Over here, we just noticed that there's actually been rodents getting in there, so we spoke with the city.
A council committee will consider the new rat strategy at a meeting on June 8th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Officials at City Hall are considering growing trees in a municipal nursery to lower cost and avoid tree shortages.
We want to plant more native species, but so does everyone else in the area, so we sometimes have a hard time getting that stock.
To achieve the city's tree canopy target by 2065, 6,000 trees must be planted per year on municipal properties and boulevards, which cost more than $3 million a year. Next week, a committee will consider launching a feasibility study about a municipal nursery to avoid purchasing trees from suppliers.
So whether that's, a municipally owned tree nursery, whether we could do multi-year contracts and save money by, committing to a longer term investment. And so staff are bringing back a report looking at, the various options and how do we figure out what is the most cost effective for Londoners.
Woodstock police say they've located more than $500,000 worth of stolen vehicles. Police say a semi-truck and trailer loaded with motorcycles and ATVs was stolen last month. They say officers executed a search warrant in Cambridge last week where they found the vehicles. Police have not indicated any arrests have been made nor any charges laid. London firefighters are crediting smoke detectors for ensuring everyone made it out of a burning townhouse complex last night. The flames broke out in London's North End just after midnight. With more on the response, here's Sean Irvin.
The intensity of a fire at a North London housing cooperative is evident in daylight. Just 8 hours earlier, a resident captured the video of the fast-moving fire lighting up the night sky. Meanwhile, this man had just stepped into his vehicle on Silverbrook Drive when he noticed the flames. He called 911.
I saw that there was some kind of light coming from the back. First, I thought it was a street light, but then it got more, like it started glowing more. And I looked back and I saw the house was on flames.
Katra immediately joined other neighbors in attempting to alert all those at risk near the 3 units ablaze.
You know, everything was burning and falling apart.
It took less than 5 minutes for London firefighters to respond. They worked to determine if anyone was trapped.
So they took an aggressive attack upon arrival, not knowing who was in and who was out of the house.
The residents in the middle unit most damaged by the fire told us off camera they were watching TV when they were alerted to the flames. They escaped with their children and their dog, but the search for 2 cats continues. It is believed the blaze began in the back area of 1 unit. An official cause will take time to determine.
So we have 12 people displaced as a result of this. We estimate it as well over $1 million worth of damage.
While the loss of their homes is upsetting, one family expressed gratitude to firefighters, who in turn gave credit to working smoke detectors.
This working smoke alarm saved lives. This is a good illustration of when it does occur. Residents quickly evacuated there. If we had to go in and rescue people inside, it may have put additional people at risk.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Investigators in the Windsor area say they are not in a position to publicly identify any suspects 3 months after a murder in LaSalle. 45-year-old Nancy Graywall was found with stab wounds back on March 3rd and was later pronounced dead in hospital. Police have indicated this was a targeted killing months after her home was set on fire in an arson case. There's been no disclosure of a possible motive either.
It's always important to get that public insight. They know what's going on the ground, and we believe that there are people that are in the Windsor area or abroad that have additional details that may assist us in moving this investigation forward.
A provincial inquest will be held next week for a man who died in custody at the Elgin Middlesex Detention Centre. 44-year-old Jamie Briggs was from Norwich. He died in November 2022. The inquest will be held online starting June 10th. Inquests are mandatory under provincial law when a person dies in custody. A young woman who recently went through cancer treatment is sharing her story and what a recent program at LHSC has meant to her. It's designed to support young people dealing with cancer diagnoses going beyond their required medical treatment. Lauren Stallone reports.
Ishtar Samano is a patient here at Victoria Hospital in London.
I was diagnosed, unfortunately, with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma in July 2025.
Now, as LHSC celebrates its 1-year anniversary of the Adolescent and Young Adult Oncology program, Samano is sharing her story.
I was always in pain. I had a very intense back pain. I didn't want to suffer any longer, so I decided it was best to go ahead and start chemotherapy without any fertility preservation.
She has been in complete remission since December 2025, but had to undergo a stem cell transplant in January.
It carried a high risk of premature menopause and ovarian failure. So when I met with AYA Oncology, they actually told me that there is another fertility preservation option.
Ovarian tissue cryopreservation, which is a technology that's been used worldwide that actually takes the ovary from the patient who's undergoing cancer treatment, freezes it, and then transplants it back when the patient is ready to have a family.
Samano says she is thankful for the support she received from the AYA Oncology program during her treatment.
They were able to send me resources, for example, mental health resources, because the cancer diagnosis is very hard as it is. And I felt that being at this age, nobody really is going through it.
Experts say every year in Ontario, more than 6,000 adolescent and young adults aged 15 to 39 are in active cancer treatment.
One of the things that this program is doing is raising awareness for AYA cancer. So even though it's rare, it's still really, really important.
The program is aimed at supporting patients like Samano along their journey.
Don't be ashamed to get out there and to try to find things that would comfort you.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
The lineup for this year's Home County Music and Art Festival has been revealed. Canadian folk singer Valdi is returning to Victoria Park this year. He was part of the inaugural festival in 1974. Other headliners include Indigenous electronic group Hallucination and the indie folk act the Rural Alberta Advantage. This year's event runs from July 24th to July 25th. When we come back, welcome to the Hall. We break down the newest inductees into the London Sports Hall of Fame. That's next on the Tee Up with Brent Lale.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. It's the Tee Up with Brent Lale. And Brent, the newest inductees of the London Sports Hall of Fame have been revealed.
Yeah, 5 individual athletes and 1 team have been unveiled as the latest class. A few of them will be recognizable to the local sports community. It includes 2 Western coaching legends. Greg Marshall co-headlines a group of local stars receiving this honor. The Mustangs legend won 12 Yates Cups as a player and coach and had a record of 160 wins and 30 losses. Also on the list, 3-time Olympic wrestler and Western coach Ray Takahashi. He's a Commonwealth Games and Pan Am gold medalist and then 10-time OUA Coach of the Year. And here's the entire class: Greg Marshall, as well as Dave Hutchison, former NHL player, Ray Takahashi, the Olympic wrestler and coach, Marie-Claire Billick, also Paul Bowles, and Western Volleyball, who won 7 OUA championships from 71 to 78.
Now, it's still early, but the London Majors are off to a strong start in the new Canadian Baseball League.
Yeah, the Majors won last night in Chatham 9-0 to improve to 6-3 on the season. They hit 4 home runs at Fergie Jenkins Field and moved into a tie for top spot in the league. They are at home Friday night at Labatt Park.
Set.
Over the past week, more than 5,000 elementary students from London, Middlesex, Elgin, and Oxford counties participated in the London District Catholic School Board's annual track and field meet. Held annually since 1957, it's an opportunity for students to participate in events at a large venue at Western University, and it also allows as many kids as possible to engage in the events regardless of ability.
Over these 3 days, this is kind of the culmination. We have 3 final sets, so it's divided by school sizes. We have an A day for the larger size schools, B day for medium, and C day for our smaller schools. And so we have 1st through 4th that get ribbons and can be announced on the podium. 1st through 6th of each event earn points that go to their school total, and we announce at the end of the day a school winner.
Now, the Canadian Open is coming up next week in Caledon with a couple local golfers trying to join the field.
Yeah, we already have the likes of Corey Connors and Mike Weir in the field. This weekend, 3 more area players are hoping to play their way in through the final qualifier. London's Cam Kellett was among those who shot his way into the final qualifier at the Pulpit Club this Sunday. He finished 2nd in the regionals to get to the final stage. Now, Kellett qualified for the Canadian Open back in 2024 as an amateur, his only PGA Tour event.
There's nothing like it. I mean, it's what you dream of as a kid and what you believe you can do all the time. So it's nice to be able to have that experience so early in my career and know what it takes to get there. A really tough course, the Pulpit Clubs. You gotta hit golf shots there, and you gotta kind of just game it around there, grind it out all day. And I think if you can shoot a few under par, it gives yourself a chance.
Also in the field is Peyton Callens of Langton. The 26-year-old is playing full-time right now on PGA Tour Americas. And then there's Thomas Code of Dorchester, who plays out of the Hunt Club. He gave pro golf a shot a few years ago, and that didn't really work out. So now he's splitting time between events and working a full-time day job. But he's still chasing that first PGA Tour event.
It would be awesome to get in and play, and try to have the cards fall as they will. But you want to play your best to represent your own national open, which would be great. But unfortunate with them taking the exemption category away to get right in. But it's still awesome to have the chance to try and qualify.
It's OFSA Championship Week. High school sports teams vying for provincial supremacy.
And let's start with Medway Cowboys. Congratulations to the boys rugby team. This afternoon, they defeated number 2 seed Streetsville to win 12-7 to win the bronze medal at OFSA. And St. Joe's, they beat A.N. Meyer to win the consolation boys title at OFSA boys baseball. And then girls rugby, soccer, and track all start tomorrow. One athlete to keep an eye on is Banting's Linus Gatson. Linus Gatson is ready to take on the competition at OFSA.
I'm competing in shot put, 100-meter sprints and 800-meter distance, because those are the para events.
He's going to provincials after a strong showing at WASA.
The 800, I set a record, so I'm the record now.
Behind the line, yep. We've been very fortunate over the years to have some great para-athletes, and Linus came to us last year after his parents moved to Western as professors, and he joined us here at Banting. So he's now competed with us for 2 years as well as the swim team, and we're very, very fortunate to have him. He has a great outlook.
Linus competes in the visually impaired category.
Well, that's a PB.
When he was just 5 months old back in Germany, he fell off the couch and went to hospital with a brain bleed.
They cut like 30% out of my brain. So, yeah, I had to retrain everything I can do with the left side of my body. It's a hemiparesis, so the left side of my body is affected. Both of my eyes function normally, but they only see the right side of the vision field, so I have only 50% vision.
In the running events, he has a good shot to medal at OFSA, although he's an underdog in the shot put.
It's a little bit more difficult because the visually impaired sometimes are a little bit more physically capable than he is. But again, no excuses. He makes it work, and he works hard to do the best he can.
And it's that outlook which makes him a pleasure to coach.
It's not about the medals, it's more about the fun. So I like competing, and yeah. Other people never get the chance to compete, so I compete for those.
And what a great kid. Finally tonight, circling back to Greg Marshall, the Western Mustangs are hosting a big send-off party for Coach this Saturday. Tickets can be found on the Mustangs website.
All right, Brent, thanks very much. Rita is here with us for a look at the forecast, and I think some lawns are starting to look a little parched out there.
Yeah,
Rita.
we definitely need that rain, and it's on its way. We'll just have to wait another couple days. Today, 27 degrees, well above what's normal this time of year, which is 22. It was nice and warm throughout the day, lots of sunshine. We're continuing to hold on to that area of high pressure. Record 28 degrees, so we almost got there. That was back in 1943, record low 3 in 1977. As we head into the evening, clear skies. That's the story for us. That high pressure is certainly dominating this forecast. A strong ridge the last few days. We're going to hold on to it tomorrow as well. It won't be until Friday afternoon when we could start to see this area of low pressure move into southwestern Ontario, and with that there are some showers and embedded thunderstorms that we'll have to deal with Friday into Saturday. But as you said, Carly, we certainly need the rain. I think we're on a 10-day dry stretch for us here in southern Ontario, so sunshine continuing this evening, a nice breeze out of the west, 10 kilometers per hour, a few clouds overnight, waking up tomorrow, nice mix of sun and cloud, and then the temperature starts to build. We'll kick things off with winds out of the southwest, 20 kilometers per hour. As that system slowly approaches, we're going to see those winds start to pick up out of the southwest, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. And keep in mind the UV index quite high at 9 tomorrow, and then our high in terms of our temperature, 30 degrees. So again, about 8 degrees above where we're supposed to be this time of year. For Friday, we'll start the day off under sunny skies, 20 29 degrees is the forecast high, but by the afternoon around 4 or 5 p.m. we are expecting clouds to increase, and then that low pressure system will swing on through, bringing some light rainfall Friday, and then a little bit of instability heading into Saturday morning. There is that chance for some thunderstorms as well. Bulk of that system should push out by Sunday. Sunday looks to be the better half in terms of dry conditions for this weekend, and then the heat and sunshine return next week with our daytime highs near 29 degrees. Midwestern Ontario 27 the high tomorrow and Friday. Now the cloud cover will start to increase early in the day Friday. The rain will move through Friday afternoon, and then for you it appears that the rain lingers a little bit longer than you would like, of course creating a bit of a rainy outlook for your weekend, but overall we do need that rain. The temperatures though, again, they're going to be quite high for this time of year. It's all thanks to that southerly wind flow heading into the weekend, and then Monday 27 heading into next week. That warmth really starts to build, and so does the humidity. Carlyle?
All right, Rita, thanks very much. Still ahead, the best advice for a flea-free summer. How to make sure your pets get through the warmer months without an itch.
Rock the Park is just 6 weeks away, and we want you to be there.
Make sure you're listening at 8:35. We got tickets. Good luck.
London's mayor says he's optimistic about a plan from upper levels of government to slash municipal development charges on new homes.
We're interested in looking into that. There's some details yet have to be looked into. Our staff have to do the analysis. But I can tell you from my perspective, I want to participate in any program that has no net new impact on property taxes.
In March, the province and feds announced an $8.8 billion partnership temporarily reducing development charges on new construction. Those charges can add up to $50,000 to a home price in London. Municipalities that reduce charges by 30 to 50% over 3 years will be eligible for provincial or federal funds for infrastructure like new roads and sewers. Those communities would be responsible for 10% of those infrastructure costs.
I'm also hopeful that the province will recognize municipal contributions to DC reductions already. As you know, we've had a 100% DC waiver in our downtown core for some time.
Warmer weather brings back seasonal risks for pets. If you notice your dog or cat scratching themselves more than usual, they could be dealing with flea bites. With more on some of the best prevention tactics, here's Pat Foran.
Fleas may be tiny, but they can create major problems for your pet.
Once the flea is on them, they start to chew on them, and they can actually cause what's called a hypersensitivity reaction or an allergic reaction to the saliva of the flea.
And once fleas get on your pet, it doesn't take long for them to spread throughout your home.
They'll hide in floorboards or in your carpet,
making it hard to get rid of them. So if you're dealing with fleas, Consumer Reports says it's important to act fast.
Start with your pet. Give them a bath using a mild dish soap, something like a Dawn or whatever you may have, and this will actually drown the fleas. Then you can follow up with a metal flea comb to remove any fleas that might remain in the coat.
Next, focus on your home. Vacuum carpets and furniture daily, and wash pet bedding in hot water to help destroy flea eggs and larvae. And don't forget about your yard.
Fleas love humid, shady, grassy areas, so keeping your grass short and keeping the bushes trimmed will make your yard less inviting for them.
Of course, the best way to deal with fleas is to prevent them in the first place. Your veterinarian can recommend a flea and tick treatment that's appropriate for your pet's age and size, whether that's a topical treatment or oral medication. Researchers say it's best to avoid flea collars. Some contain chemicals linked to concerning health risks for pets and even people. Following these steps can help your pet stay flea-free and keep from scratching this summer. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Zellers is expanding, bringing back a new store to southwestern Ontario. With more on the Canadian retailer's return more than a decade after shutting down, here's Travis Fortnum.
The list of stores inside Tecumseh Mall will soon have a new name at the bottom, alphabetically.
We got Zellers coming to this mall.
13 years after shutting down, Zellers is returning to Tecumseh Mall. Its first standalone store reopened in Edmonton last fall. Now 2 more are coming to Ontario.
It's amazing. Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I feel like Windsor needs something like that back.
We like to go in and try stuff on. Zellers has been a Windsor landmark for so long. Come on back, Zellers.
I think it's a good idea. Technically speaking, I love to shop anything Canadian.
It'll suit the area perfectly. I think they'll be successful.
The company agrees. In a statement to CTV News, Zellers COO Joey Bonita says after the success of its Edmonton store, the company began looking for the next locations, saying, quote, Windsor represented an opportunity where everything aligned in a meaningful way. Bonita also calls Tecumseh Mall an ideal partner, citing the brand's long history in the community. And it's that history that has many shoppers looking forward to the return.
We used to shop there when I was younger with my grandmother.
Oh, yeah, I loved it when we had it. I don't know why they closed it.
I think it's a good strategy to be diving into people's nostalgia because it results in more social connectedness.
Pushpinder Gill, an assistant professor of marketing at the University of Windsor, says nostalgia isn't just for people who remember shopping at Zellers. He says younger generations can still connect with the brand, creating what marketers call a sense of collective nostalgia. And even with the growth of online shopping, Gill says many consumers still value the experience of browsing in person.
Customers would like to get surprised. Customers would like to roam around the store because it lowers their level of anxiety.
Zellers is opening a store in Toronto later this month. The Tecumseh Mall location is expected to follow in July. It will be inside the mall this time and smaller, so likely no restaurant this iteration. Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
The technology and base metals sectors dragged down stock markets today. In Toronto, the TSX lost 368 points. In New York, the Dow fell 621. The Nasdaq dropped 240. The Canadian dollar down a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold dropped more than $50 an ounce. Oil gained $2.26 a barrel. Still ahead, a new round of tariffs coming from the White House. What the Trump administration are targeting and why. Welcome back. White House officials are seemingly shifting the goalposts again when it comes to global tariffs. After the U.S. Supreme Court struck down previous tariff measures, the focus now seems to be on curbing imports made with forced labor. With more on what that could mean for Canada, here's Abigail Beeman.
Hello. Just hours after the U.S.-Canada trade minister said he had a positive meeting with Jamieson Greer, Greer's office said Canada is among the countries that could be hit with a new 10% tariff for failing to take action on forced labor. The failure of our most important trading partners to address the importation of goods made with forced labor is unacceptable. This creates a dynamic where American workers are forced to compete globally on an unlevel playing field, Greer said.
This is not a surprise.
The Prime Minister pointed out the vast majority of goods fall under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico free trade deal and won't be impacted. He says Canada supports the overall objective.
We made some changes earlier this year on things that candidly were not as effective, so there's ways we can change things legislatively. We'll be proposing that to the House in the coming weeks.
LeBlanc wouldn't answer whether he and Greer discussed Canada's move to allow some Chinese EVs into the market.
We don't discuss publicly the content of private conversations or private discussions.
U.S.-Canada expert Christopher Sands says the U.S. is intentionally moving some trade irritants outside CUSMA.
The good news is that might mean the USMCA could move as far as renewal or that the negotiations could be more constructive going forward. The bad news is this is designed to keep the U.S. with leverage, even if we renew USMCA, because we have the other issues that we could use to impose tariffs on Canada.
Now, these tariffs aren't in place just yet. Experts say important to point out there is a process. The USTR will hold hearings about them July 7th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Washington.
Federal government officials are demanding the CRTC review a recent decision that could lead to Canadians paying more for streaming services. It would force large foreign streaming services to spend some of their Canadian revenue on Canadian programming. Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
The federal government appears to be backing away from its fight to force streaming giants to pay more for Canadian content, one day after what Canada called positive trade talks in Washington.
It's no secret to anyone that's been paying any attention to this that the USTR has identified these issues as a trade issue. It would be disingenuous to suggest that this is the single issue. The reality is we're impatient to make sure that this sector stays vital and stays supported.
Last month, the CRTC announced it was tripling the amount companies like Netflix and Disney had to pay for Canadian content, increasing fees from 5% of their Canadian revenue to 15%, a move the Conservatives strongly opposed.
When we debated this in the House of Commons, the Liberals faux-pas us. They made it sound like it was no big deal, that this tax was being widely accepted. That's not true.
Days after saying they couldn't act, Ottawa is now asking the CRTC to review that decision, saying it could increase costs for consumers.
It's actually good to see the government admitting that some of their the choices that they've made in terms of the legislation, in terms of the regulations, are actually going to have downstream impacts on consumers.
But many experts say it's about more than affordability. It's about appeasing the Americans who have repeatedly called the Online Streaming Act a trade irritant.
The CRTC's move was largely seen as provocative, an annoyance, an irritant to those trade negotiations. And so essentially what the federal government is doing is removing that annoyance from the playing field.
The streaming companies' fees were supposed to help Canadian producers, but no money has ever gone out. It's all been tied up in the courts. To help that industry, the Canadian government today announced a $600 million investment. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal government has endorsed a plan to rehome Canada's last remaining captive whales. There are 30 beluga whales and 4 dolphins still at Marineland in Niagara Falls. The Department of Fisheries and Oceans has issued the first batch of permits to move the animals to aquariums in the U.S. and Spain. Officials say they will also issue additional permits closer to the move, which is expected in the coming months. Representatives for Marineland have called the operation extraordinarily complex, and if the deal falls through, the animals could be euthanized. A historic first at the University of Windsor today. The country's first cohort of registered nurses is graduating with the authority to prescribe certain medications. Robert Lothian reports.
On a day of many lasts at the University of Windsor, from a last visit to a final goodbye, there's also a first in this graduating class. Canada's first group of registered nurses graduating with prescribing authority.
So throughout this program, we learned how to assess patients depending on symptoms that they have, learning to somewhat diagnose.
Sydney Zopp is one of those students completing the prescribing program as an undergrad nursing student, a shift on the front lines which could further help those seeking care.
Especially like for certain patients that can't get into doctors, maybe they don't have a doctor at the moment, being able to see a nurse prescriber at a clinic would be very beneficial for their health.
Ontario announced the expanded powers of specifically trained RNs in 2023, allowing them to prescribe birth control, travel medications, topical wound care, and drugs for smoking cessation, while also providing certain vaccines. The University of Windsor was among the first schools to include the training in the curriculum.
So instead of having multiple referrals when they receive a diagnosis, they can now potentially get all their care from the nurse, and it increases the continuity of care for the patients.
At a time when physicians are at a shortage, RNs in some settings could help to fill in more gaps.
The nurse is already there assessing their patients and providing care to them throughout their entire shift, so they know the patient very well and can use their clinical judgment to make a good decision on what medication they might be needing.
The university received funding from the province in 2025 to support the RN prescribing education. Wednesday's graduation is a sign of change in healthcare. For those in the inaugural class, the significance isn't lost on them.
This is a very historic moment that in the future will reflect on the 2026 graduates of nursing in terms of being a part of this important milestone.
I take a lot of pride in saying that I'm one of the first nursing students to have RN prescribing behind my name.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
Tomorrow on CTV News, a London man and his message to government health officials demanding access to therapies for early-stage Alzheimer's. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Amanda. This photo was taken in Port Stanley on a bright and sunshiny day. Thanks so much for sharing, Amanda. Things are heating up on Thursday. Daytime highs to flirt with 30 degrees. And after more than a week of sunshine, our dry stretch will come to an end this weekend. Rain is expected to move in Friday with showers and thunderstorms developing and continuing into Saturday morning. Sunshine and warmth returns next week.
CBS executives have fired a well-known correspondent for the show 60 Minutes. Scott Pelley was fired one day after a reportedly fiery staff meeting on the show's future. CBS leaders dismissed Pelley after he openly challenged the competency of the show's new executive producer and the recent firing of other CBS staff. Pelley has accused the new CBS News chief, Barry Weiss, of intentionally trying to kill the program as a favor to the Trump administration. According to reporting from Variety, Weiss told employees an effort was made to engage with Pelley before his firing, but he says that's not true. Lambton OPP say they have recovered the body of a swimmer who went missing last month on Lake Huron. According to police, 5 people were on a raft at Pinery Provincial Park near Grand Bend on May 18th when they went into the water. They say 2 people made it back to shore safely. 2 others got back on the raft, but a 5th did not surface. Police say the missing 22-year-old was from Nepal and their body was recovered from the water near Port Franks. Community members gathered last night ahead of the 5th anniversary of the deadly attack on the Afzal family. It was deemed an act of terrorism motivated by anti-Muslim hate. Rita Ismail has more on the reflections on the progress made and on the work that still lies ahead.
A moment of silence, honoring the lives of the Afzal family. This Saturday will mark 5 years since the family was killed while out for an evening walk in northwest London. Tuesday night, community members gathered to remember them and focus on preventing similar acts of hate in the future.
As we remember the family, as we remember their pain, as we remember the misery that the family has gone through at that moment and in the last 5 years, we also want to know how we can move forward together as a community.
The event, called Rooted in Remembrance and Growing Together as Allies, brought together residents for conversations about allyship, inclusion, and combating discrimination. While organizers say important conversations have taken place since the attack, many believe more work remains.
There's still a lot of hate that exists and many different incidences of Islamophobia alongside other forms of racism and discrimination continue to plague our communities. My own personal interactions with the family, which continue to this day, one of the things that they emphasize is that they say that this is not about the family themselves in and of themselves, but rather the focus is on the work that needs to be done within the community in order to prevent this from happening anywhere else.
For volunteers and attendees, the responsibility extends beyond the Muslim community.
The broader community, the non-Muslim community, for example, in this instance, is committed to joining together, committed to individual actions to ensure that nothing of this sort ever happens again in London.
Nathaniel Veltman, who deliberately drove his pickup truck into the Afzal family simply because they were Muslim, was convicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder in 2023. His appeal is currently before the courts. As London prepares to mark the 5th anniversary of the attack, organizers of tonight's event say remembrance must be paired with action. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A developing story now from City Hall where.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, students of all ages playing together in Cambridge. It's a partnership with the Wilfrid Laurier University football team aimed at building community connections. Colton Weens reports.
barreling through a line of defenders and diving into the end zone. It's a day that Jensen Bitna has been waiting for all year. Bitna is a student in the Alternative Continuum of Education program at Jacob Hespeler Secondary School and says he's been working on his football moves just for today.
I was running and then go on the hula hoops and then go around and I touch the mat and then woo!
The day has become a bit of an annual tradition at the high school in Cambridge, a partnership with the Lighthouse Adult Day program, bringing together students from the ACE program and players from the Wilfrid Laurier University football team.
I'm very big on trying to help out anybody else who needs it. Just as a whole, just be a part of, other people and other things that are going on. So it's very important to me just to help.
We just love this partnership, right? And so being able to not only work with the Lighthouse every year, but now start to work with some of the ACE programs in the high schools and make sure that we can help and contribute and these guys can come out and have some fun together.
And while they did this last year with Jacob Hespeler students, this year they expanded the program to include Waterloo Oxford students all in the day.
We've been going individually to each school and we thought it was a lot easier just to have them all come together. And it's a bit more community building too to have them all come together.
Around a dozen students from Waterloo Oxford Secondary School and 20 from Jacob Hespeler took part in different football drills, and kids from Jacob Hespeler's leadership class and the school's football team also took part. What's your favorite part?
Running into him.
Well, it's been fun. It's good for them to get out here. They're having a great time, and they're having fun jumping on the mats and stuff, and it's just a good day.
Go Golden Hawks, and just everybody stay involved in your community, help out in any way you can, because it'll really help. So, yeah.
Colton Weens, CTV News, Cambridge.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.